So the Many Saints of Newark is a new movie. It's in theaters and also on HBO Max.
Yep.
It chronicles the early years of Tony Soprano, but he's more of a side character in this. It's about the world.
Which mind you, I wasn't expecting.
It was directed by Alan Taylor, who is known for cinematic classics such as Terminator Genesis and Thor: The Dark World. You know your favorite movies.
Whose favorite movie is it, man?
And yeah, we got a 2-hour epic, which serves as possibly the beginning of a new series. I don't know.
Oh, I would hope so.
The way that this ends, if there is a sequel, I will be fine with it. If there is not a sequel, it sours the movie itself. Because so much of the movie just feels like from the beginning, it's building and building and building to something.
Did you ever see the end of The Sopranos?
Yes.
So you know about the controversy behind the ending and all of that?
Mm-hmm.
You think it ended that way on purpose?
Well, I mean, they wrote it, so I feel like...
No, well, I mean, obviously. What I'm talking about is...
you mean like, did they write it to be as vague as it was? I think so. Yeah.
Because if that's true, then it's a possibility it won't be another one. Because that's always been the creator's style.
Yeah, but you also have to remember that was the end of the series, and the vague ending was on one character. With this, there's vague endings for a bunch of characters.
Right.
Or maybe not a bunch of them, but a few.
No, it's quite a few.
Okay, all right.
It's quite a few.
I'm going to talk about the things I like about the movie.
Okay.
The cast.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Leslie Odom Jr. I'm not going to say his name. The guy who played Dickie Mussolini.
Leslie Odom Jr. was amazing in that movie. Amazing in that movie.
He's one of those actors that you can tell what he's thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And in a movie like that, like in the Sopranos world, that's the type of actors you need.
Yeah. Yeah, they can say a lot with their voice and a lot with their expression as well.
John Bernthal is in the movie.
I love John Bernthal. Yeah. I like don't get me wrong, he performed well in the movie, but I also feel like in every movie he's just himself to a degree.
Yeah, I get that feeling too.
like I feel like that's how John Bernthal really is as a person. so like when I see him acting, I'm like, this is good, but I feel like this is just him also.
Yeah. Vera Farmiga, amazing.
As always.
Corey Stoll, I do think he did good. He acted really well in it, but his character itself, I didn't care for.
I like what they did with them now. I like what they did with the character. It was very subtle. I think that character had a little more going on. I think most people will realize. His brother his brother goes into jail, right? And he wants to look after Tony, but here's Dickie stepping up. Tony's father gets out of jail, and he's like, "Oh, why are there black people on my block?" type shit. And he's like, "Look at Dickie. Dickie took care of business." And they always show this facial expression after these things were said, and it got progressively worse and worse. So I could see that. I saw that coming.
All right. Well, I'll give you that, but I won't concede on how sloppy the ending was.
No doubt. But I don't think it has anything to do with that. Like, the way they set that character up to me is very reminiscent of how if you were the victim of it in real life, how you would see it. Okay, so they set it up really subtly to the point where when it happens to Dickie, it looks almost random because he wasn't paying attention.
So would you agree that the sloppiness of the ending happens after his arc is finished? like after he's making the call.
I can see that.
Because like at that
But
point,
I don't know. Maybe it's because I was immersed in it that like I understood it, because he was the one keeping things together. So of course everything is going to be in disarray.
it just feels like after that happens.
Are you looking at it from a different perspective than I am? I think.
Possibly. I'm looking at it more just from the ending.
Okay.
And how after Dickie gets murdered, everything, like they try to wrap a lot of threads up really quickly. Like for example, there was the full like 10 minutes of Dickie being like, Tony, go. Like, stay out of my life. You don't want a part of this.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets shot, and then Tony's like, I'm still here for you. And I just feel like that plot point was a little, I'm not going to say unneeded, because it was probably good for like Tony's character.
Mm-hmm.
But
especially if there's a sequel.
But let's say Tony was there with Dickie. Junior wasn't going to shoot him too. He wasn't going to shoot Tony. So I just feel like the whole plot point of like, you need to stay away from him or else something bad will happen to him, followed by it quickly just something bad happening to Dickie, and then Tony being like, you're still my favorite. That just felt rushed.
How would you have done it?
Honestly, I would just take out the part that he's staying away to protect Tony.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe if just like after he like commits a second murder shit, which was wild. Like he himself decides, just being like, I want I want to get out, or I don't want anyone to be near me for like, because I know what I can do. Instead of like him talking with Ray Liotta and Ray being like, stay out of his life.
I think I'm looking at it from a different perspective, because I saw what wasn't being said also. Everybody around him was dying of getting touched by his enemies. So to me, it's a matter, like a lot of his boys got killed by my man's character, the black guy.
Oh yeah. Leslie Odom.
Leslie, yeah, Odom Jr. Yeah, a lot of his boys was getting killed. The love of his life got smashed by him, right? Like, dude is literally touching all aspects of his life. And so to me, it's only now, like, they had to include that Tony is, that he was backing away from Tony because he's getting touched all over.
But even then, Leslie Odom Jr.'s character, he kind of has resolution, because he gets like his little house at the end. But there's just so many unanswered questions that I feel surpass being vague for the intentionally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Vague of just like, ooh, what happened to him? It just feels like it dropped off.
The movie could have used 30 more minutes.
30 more minutes, it would have been a perfect movie.
The movie could have used like 30 more minutes, and I would say maybe a chance to expound on, because I don't think they should get rid of the arc of him trying to keep Tony away.
Just the fallout of it.
Yeah, I think they should have expanded on it.
Because for a second, I thought, because like it goes to black, and I was like, did I turn my TV off? And then I saw the credits, and I was like, oh, okay. And then like it pops back on for a scene, and I was like, all right, what's this? And it's like, Leslie with the family and all that, and I was like, okay. And then that ended, and I was like, I want more, and not necessarily. I don't. It's such a mixed bag for me. Like, not in a good way, but not in a bad way. Like, I want more of the story, because it would help more complete, like tell a more complete story.
It will help you create a complete thought about the story
situation. Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I want to bring up is the fact that Ray Liotta plays two different characters in this, and for a whole ass scene, I didn't realize. I was just like, I thought he died. Why is he in jail?
I thought they were time jumping. Like, Like, okay, so he was in jail once upon a time, and now you went to go visit him in jail. Is this what's happening? And I found out, no, that's just him playing his twin brother.
And they're just like, yeah, well, my twin brother. And I was like, oh.
Oh,
But
man.
even that aside, he killed it. Like, he's such a good actor.
Oh, Ray Liotta has been A1 since day one, dog.
He's like, going back to what we said earlier, he's somebody who doesn't have to talk. His demeanor will do the talking for him.
Yeah. Yeah, those are the best actors, dude.
Michael Gandafini.
Yes.
Phenomenal.
I really hope that they do a part 2, because that one he'll shine in. He'll have the chance to shine some more. So I really hope that there's a part 2 for more reasons than just the story feeling incomplete, which I agree with you, mind you. I do think feels incomplete. But God, I want to see them do what they were doing some more.
Like, I guess my biggest complaint about this is that this should have been a series. Not even like something with multiple seasons or anything like that. Even if it was just a limited run, even if it was like 5 episodes.
Right.
It needed more time to breathe.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing too, right? Because I mentioned to you earlier, I felt as though they were trying to tell it in like classic Soprano storytelling style. But classic Soprano storytelling style is based on a series.
Yeah.
That series was so good because they expounded on so much. Like, you learn so much about
that went on for years.
Yeah. Tony and everybody else around him. You learn so much. It made you adore the characters, I think.
Yeah, and this one does a really good job of that too. Like,
yeah,
like I said, I just wish there was more.
Yeah.
I cannot get through this review without shouting out Joey Diaz.
Oh my God, I was waiting on that part.
I didn't know he was in it. I saw him and I was like,
no, I didn't know he was in it either. I'm saying, like, I was waiting
on me to say, oh, dude. I got so fucking happy. I think like the moment he went on screen, I immediately texted you in like all caps, and I was like, Joey Diaz. And you were like, I know, it's great.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised to see him. Yeah, I hope it's a sequel. Desperately so. If not, honestly, I'll take it as is, and it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, phenomenal performances in there.
Phenomenal set design and costume as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for not like, there wasn't a second that I looked at it and I was like, oh, this is a set. I just felt like I was in the time period, which is very hard to do.
Yeah, because it made it appear so, it's like natural.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like if you walked outside, okay, this could be it right now.
Yeah,
they made it appear like so natural and for them, which is a credit to the actors. You know, because like usually you can tell when it's like, okay, this is back whatever decade. You can tell it here too, but it's like, yeah, it doesn't feel like a set because they look natural in those roles at the end, I think.
Also, and like I know that I have been griping on it a lot, mostly due to the ending, but the screenwriting as well was just wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Like the dialogue, the pacing, the opening shot, like the moment the opening shot had with like all the gravestones, I was like, I am in for a ride. and
it would have been a ride if it was 30 more minutes longer.
Exactly. It would. I think it would be a masterpiece if it was 30 minutes longer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I did have my issues with it, but it doesn't take the parts that I didn't like as much do not take away from the parts that I thought were great.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you
I was just about to ask you that. I give it a 6.
I'll say 6.5.
Okay,
so I looked up the box office like response for it because it is also in theaters. The film made $2 million on its first day.
Oh.
He's expressed interest in producing a sequel to the Many Saints of Newark that follows Tony Soprano in his 20s. Provided he can collaborate with former Sopranos writer Terrence Winter. Upon hearing this, Winter replied he would do it in a heartbeat. So there's a plan for it.
Just the money has to be there.
The money has to be there. So stream it, watch it. It is worth a watch.
It is. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And yeah.
Especially if you're a fan of The Sopranos, I think.
If you're a fan of The Sopranos, you will get a lot out of this. If you're a fan of mafia movies, which maybe that's where I was going into it. I was seeing it as kind of
I looked at it as a Sopranos thing, and rather than like trying to stack it against like a Goodfellas or The Irishman and something like that, you know.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard though. Like when something's made in a similar time period and a similar subject matter.
Right. It's hard to separate them.
But no, check it out. And if you've seen it, let us know what you think in the comment section.
After you hit the subscribe button.
And then after you hit the subscribe button and after you comment what you think, do you know what you need to do? Like this fucking video.
All right, and that's a wrap.